Welcome to episode 26 of Pineapples and Thorns. Hey, Peter, how are you tonight?
Great. I got 3 stars in the first war, Crystal Warrior.
Yeah, was it 3 stars for the good guys?
It was. It was indeed.
Excellent. And tonight we have a very special guest with us, Momma Siddz. Welcome, Momma.
Hi. Hi, how's it going?
It's going great.
We're so happy to have you on. You make us sound good every week, so now we'll make you sound good.
Little do people know how good she makes us sound.
Yikes, no pressure.
No pressure.
So, Peter, why don't you give us a little bit of news about what's happening around the CFF and other places?
Super. I want to start off with the Green is Gold FC tournament that Noble Hero hosted. So I want to say congratulations to the artist formerly known as Ink. He was the Town Hall 13 winner. And Snoopy was obviously the Town Hall 14 winner. I think that was a lot of fun. I know they picked green as gold for St. Patrick's Day, but they missed out on the Town Hall 14 Golem. I think they could have included that. So next year, Don't forget the Golem, guys.
Yeah, it's got that green kind of spiky thing.
Yeah. What else we got? Oh, upcoming event is the Clone War, hosted by Sky and Barky. And that one sounds really fun. There's a lot of hype going around in the podcast community. You have to make your first attack in the first 12 hours. This is going to be a no dip, no reach war, so it'll be equivalent Town Hall. And whatever you attack that person with, they need to use that army comp to attack you back. So, anybody who wants to get Carl to attack with E-Drags, this is your chance.
People will be lining up.
Yeah. I've been stressing about how to get a crazy army with maybe super Volks or something somebody's not really familiar with, but it hasn't I can't think of the word. The motivation hasn't found me yet, so
yeah, I think
more to come.
It's time to get pretty creative.
Yes. And then our friends over at C2J is talking about Carl and C-Note. The Coke versus Pepsi war finally landed. Mm-hmm. Congratulations to Team Coke. We managed to squeak out that victory. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. Would you have been on Team Pepsi?
Oh, definitely.
Hear that, C-Note? You should have been recruiting harder. Speaking of C-Note, he was quite perturbed that I did not attack his base, and so
yes.
On his pod, he's now said he is up 2-0 based on purely destruction percentage. Neither one of us have been able to 3-star each other, but I promise to bring the good stuff next time. So.
And you and he had a little bet going?
We did. So I called him C-Note, but for the month of April, he is going to be Coke Note. So he's been a good sport about that. He changed his name in the servers that I seen him in. So he's a good sport.
He is. And then he called in his bet on Carl.
Right, live on the stream. Nobody, you're not doing that. You're doing E-Drags. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Everybody was pretty excited about that.
And Carl was totally shocked. You got him good.
And the funny thing is he almost tripled with it.
E-Drags are OP. I don't know what his fight is.
Exactly. It's just he should just give in already and start using them.
Yes. I think he does not like the lack of strategy. What else have we got? Oh, Dark Sector actually was able to achieve their 400th win. So congratulations to those guys. Yeah.
Yay.
I thought they were going to postpone the spin until after SCWL, so I actually missed out on that war, but
yeah,
good for them.
That's super hard to get that milestone, you know. Any time that that a clan seems to try and go for that big one, it takes a few hits. So.
And lastly, I'd like to say, come on, Hammer Jam. It didn't drop at the end of March, so I'm hoping now the end of April, maybe we'll get it. So all my Town Hall 2 planning is gone for the moment. And if you haven't heard, we're doing a Clash meetup in Buffalo, New York on Memorial Day weekend. So for you Canadians, that's the weekend after Victoria Day weekend. Hoping you can join us. There's 11 confirmed. Some of us are staying at the Millennium Buffalo. We don't know what we're doing quite yet. We're hoping maybe a home versus away war. We'll just see what mood strikes us.
So there's a lot of interest in that. There's a lot of people sort of up in the air about whether they'll be able to go or not. So.
And we were just saying off the air, COVID has made every plan hard for traveling.
Exactly.
So yeah. We'll hope it just clears up and we can have a good time.
Yeah, it sounds really great, though.
It'd be a bit of a drive for you, wouldn't it, Mama?
Well, it depends on if I'm
where you start from. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either really close or really far.
Yeah.
So, Mama, you're an OG of the CFF. You're also the amazing editor of our show here, the Pineapples and Thorns. So, I want to welcome you and thank you for agreeing to come on the show.
Well, thanks. I think.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself, what town hall levels you play, and a little bit about your Clash history.
Okay. So I guess I've been playing Clash for a really long time. I have I guess I have all the Christmas trees on Momma Siddz. So,
Wow.
so I've been around for a little while. Nobody else is going to admit this, but I actually started playing Clash through Heyday. I started with Heyday first, did a little bit of Boom Beach, and, you know, they were all connected, saw Clash, decided to play a little bit of Clash. I've played a long time just on single player, and I guess I was playing for about 3 or 4 months, and I found out of the blue that 3 of 4 of my kids were playing Clash, and they were really surprised. And so they made me join a clan, and I joined the clan they were in, and of course we stayed there for a couple of months. But then we moved to a clan that I consider my home clan, which is called We the North, and I have always had at least one account in that clan since the very beginning. I feel very close to that group. So, but as far as accounts are concerned, I have 8, and I haven't got any 14s yet. Momma Siddz is, I think, one cannon and a few walls away, and I'm nervous about pushing the button to 14, but I guess I'm going to do that sooner than later. And I have a few 13s, I have a few 12s, I have 111 and 110. And I'm in 3 different clans right now. I'm in a clan that is called Sky Warriors, and that's an Indian clan. And then I'm in a clan called Yor, which is from Canada. And they're all just friendly, family type friend clans. So, yeah, so that's kind of it. That's how I got started.
And how did you find your way to the CFF in Kent Greenhouse?
Well, so I knew about the CFF for a really long time before I joined, and I actually, so Siddz is a relative of mine, thus the name Momma Siddz. Anyway, I listened to he was in a podcast for quite a while back in the day, and so I knew I'd heard about it a lot. He had talked about it a lot, and so it was Butters. For those of you that know Butters, it was Butters that actually convinced me to join KGH. I had asked him for some help. I had always been a dragon attacker, and they were starting to fall out of favor. I wanted to learn how to do witches, and Butters spent a long time coaching me through the witch attack. And during that time period, he kept talking about KGH and how it would be a great place to go. And so, yes, I asked to join. And I think the reason why I wanted to join was because it is a teaching clan. And I really was kind of struggling at that time trying to figure out what attacks to use. And so it was really a perfect fit for me back then. And I was really glad that I joined. So
I actually can't believe that Butters taught you how to use witches.
I know. Can you believe that?
Of all people.
Well, you know what? His attack rate with witches was like unbelievable.
Yeah, he's very good with them.
Yeah. So
he doesn't want to admit it, but
but yeah.
So, do you have any favorite memories of your time in KGH?
You know what? I don't remember sort of any specific wars or any sort of nail biting experiences. There were a lot of really good people there for sure. It's hard to name anybody in particular because you'd be afraid you'd miss somebody out. But I do remember the time. I guess I was on a podcast and it was Married with Clash. I think it was Ladies' Night, and I think you were there, Kat.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
So there was, Queen JJ, there was Miss P, there was Star, there was a whole pile of very famous women, and I was struggling with technology. And I, for some reason on my screen, it said that I was on hold, and I thought, oh, well, that's great. Queen JJ is going to just have us all on hold. She's going to push the button. We're all going to join. And And so I'm thinking, okay, it's all great. And she's now texting me wondering where I am. And I'm like, I'm telling her I'm on hold. And she said she didn't know what I was talking about. So she's now started the podcast, and I'm now pushing buttons on my equipment. And I jump in halfway through the introductions, and everybody's talking about how I'm now an elder and I'm in KGH, and I'm like, already know that I'm not an elder, I'm a member. And I'm thinking, how do I fix this? And, Kat's congratulating me, and I'm really feeling awkward. And, now I'm starting to think she's actually joking that, they're joking that I might be an elder.
I
And
remember that. Yeah.
I now, I really still didn't believe it all during that podcast until I actually got the next day. It's too bad Rusty's not on. The next day, I think I got a message from Rusty just confirming that I was officially on. And, I was a little disappointed on that podcast that I couldn't tell everybody how honored I felt that I was now an elder at KGH. And now that I'm on this podcast, I think I can now rectify that problem and tell everybody that, I really was very honored to become an elder. And I know that other people who are elders or co-leaders or leaders, I know that it comes with responsibility. And I think it was a very great honor. And so thank you guys.
No, thank you.
Long overdue.
No, it was a lot of fun having you over there.
Anyway,
So,
I mean, definitely the clan itself, like the everybody's so patient at KGH. There's a lot of really great teachers. It's a really well-run clan, and I really did learn a lot. So even though I don't really have any sort of special memories aside from the elder thing, it was really great.
yeah. So do you also have a favorite town hall level that you like to play, or a favorite attack strategy currently?
Well, you know what? Like back in the day when Town Hall 10 was the highest, I think Town Hall 9 was my favorite for a long time. But now I'd have to say it's Town Hall 13. Momma Siddz has been a dragon attacker forever since she unleashed them in Town Hall 7. And I've had a really hard time getting away from them. So in 13, I use a combo of dragons and dragon riders, and I have a fairly good success rate with it. Now, I'm out in the hinterland where the bases may not be as competitive as where you guys are, but I just like them. It's hard for me to move away from them.
It is. Yeah.
They've
Yeah, you
made
get
them very strong right now. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
are.
I was using super drags and various combinations, and I mean, it is very easy to get used to that. And I've been struggling a bit lately because I've started trying to use super bowlers, and there's some days I go, yeah, really, this is really great. Other days it's like, oh, look at all those 1-stars.
It's so, yeah. Sometimes 3 stars are elusive for me, but yeah.
So what made you decide to jump into editing the podcast? Talk to us about that side of the show, because most people don't realize how much work it takes to make people like me and Peter sound as good as we do.
Well, actually, you guys sound pretty good on the podcast. So yeah, it's not as much work as you think. I actually, it's probably a long story about why I decided to jump in. So way back when, do you guys remember when Fish and JLo and Sids were hosting the podcast?
Absolutely.
That I started listening then too, and it was I really loved the podcast. It was really talked a lot about the game, which as this podcast does too. It really helps when you're trying to learn new strategies. You get new ideas. It's a really great thing. And then I also was listening to Married with Clash way back then too, and they were so hilarious because they didn't leave any questions unanswered, and and so I was really disappointed when they went off the air. And so when I saw Kat sending out messages about needing somebody to edit, I thought, well, that's probably something I could do. Now, I really didn't know what I was getting into, but anyway, it all has worked out. I did actually go to Sid's and ask him a little bit about what he did, what programs he used, that kind of thing, and so that was actually that was helpful. In the beginning, I was spending a lot of time doing editing, like
Yeah.
anywhere from 12 to 20 hours. And at one point in time, I think I had a podcast that was lost in cyberspace someplace, and that really hurt because that's a lot of time kind of gone down the drain. But
Yeah.
after talking to Siddz, I think at one point in time it was Kat. You were the one that gave me my best advice about all this editing and told me to stop worrying about all the ums and ahs and just take out, some of the pauses that were in the podcast. And I actually have it down now where I can do it in 2 hours ish, which is
Wonderful.
super fast for me and very manageable. So I guess actually, the bigger part when it takes me longer is when I get stuck on a spot where somebody says something and it's hilarious, and I have to pick myself up off the floor. Um, and I have had it where I've been editing and I'm breaking out in laughter, and I have had my family come and find me to wonder what was happening to me. And then I share what's been said, and we're all now laughing in our living room. And I think the best one was remember when the fellow got off the podcast because he said, I think my deck's on fire. And he did it very, very calmly.
That was
Who was
Halligan.
that?
That was Halligan, yeah.
Oh, man. It was just so hilarious. He just did it calmly. And it was just a everyday occurrence.
Everyday occurrence, yep.
Yeah. So anyway, it was, yeah. There's been lots of those where I've been, on the ground laughing and people have had to come and say, okay, Mom, stop. But,
So moving on in sort of more of a general clash direction, you're wearing some casual clans these days. How do you guys recruit members, or do you recruit members?
So I haven't had to recruit members in quite a while. It's really interesting. They kind of seem to come and go. So there are times when I open up the dam by changing the setting to anybody can join, and then you get a whole onslaught of people. And some of those people will stay and they'll be great clan members, but you also get a whole pile of people that jump in and out, and you get it, which is not a lot of fun, and it annoys people. But generally what's happened is, I guess it was a couple of years ago, I had a whole pile of guys, about maybe 4 or 5 guys from India join, and they hung around for a long, long time. And then just recently they left to create their own clan. Thus, I've got some counts in their clans now because I was trying to bolster up their numbers. And when they moved, I had some old members that had been either moved on to another clan, or members who had actually left the game but have come back. I've had a whole pile of old members come back in again. So it kind of is it seems kind of magical how it happens. We're never full. We always have about 40 people, and of those 30 are probably active, but we only war with somewhere between 15 and 20. So
it's actually really good. Do you ever look at using the in-game recruiting system?
I've tried that. I don't find that very helpful. So actually, one of the times when I was recruiting, what I was doing is every time I actually played Builderman. Because if I was in there and I found somebody that didn't have a clan, I was immediately inviting them to join. And anytime I had any attacks I did, if there was somebody that did not have a clan, I was inviting them. And sometimes you get people like that, and that's great. But that was really hard to. And also, I just made more accounts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know a lot of people used to use the old global chat system to recruit, and that was mildly effective, I think, for clans just starting out to try and get warm bodies in the clan. But what do you think Supercell could do to help the average clan recruit? Not everybody knows about Reddit Recruit or the various servers where people can post to recruit new members.
Yeah, I that's a tough question. I don't know what they can do. So when I have tried to use their matching game, or their matching program, or whatever you want to call it, it's kind of like a dating app, really. It does try to match like-minded clans with like-minded members. But when you go in to search, everybody has full mailboxes, so you can't even invite them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I almost feel like if you've got more than 5 in messages in your mailbox, maybe you get off of the list and new people get put on the list. There has to be some way to kind of clean that list up, because, you're now then, like, I would put 50 invites out, but then half of those would be, I couldn't even get through into the person's mailbox. So I don't know if they could somehow clean that up a little bit. That would be great.
Yeah, do you think there would be a better way in game itself to try and promote your clan and say, if I'm a player searching for a clan, to pull up clans that are actually actively recruiting, like a button, we are recruiting. I don't know. It's just an idea.
One clan that I belong to, the fellows that are from India, what they've done is they've gone and they war everywhere. They go everywhere. They join a clan. They spend a little bit of time, and then they kind of poach. I guess is the best way to describe it. People from those clans, and then they will come back. They'll ask you to be your friend, and then they'll come back, and they always have access to you. And like, I really like these guys, so I'm fine with that. But that is how they've increased their numbers. Is there's 4 or 5 of them. They go out periodically. They go out and they sort of headhunt is what they do.
Yeah. Seems like actually something that might be mildly effective, because if you found a clan that half the people maybe were active, but it wasn't super organized, maybe you could convince some of them to join you or to come over and visit and see if
and especially if you find clans that there's only, say, like 10 or 15 people, you can't even do the Supercell War League.
That's right.
Right? You have to have 15 as a minimum. So
yeah, for sure. So how do you guys handle your mixed wars? Because you're probably running various town hall levels, right? It seems for a lot of clans that no matter what your breakdown, it's really difficult to get the lower town halls to hit early in war. How do you guys communicate that and post-war strategies? Or
I guess the members I have right now, nobody hits early. It's if we get hits in before the last 6 hours, I'm really happy. And my middle guys are the guys that are pretty good at doing that. But I have enough of my own accounts that kind of split up between early people, middle, and late, that I can kind of balance it out with some of my own accounts as far as getting some of those bottom bases cleaned up early. So yeah, I guess I don't have really great answers to that. What I have done is, after every war, in We the North, after every war, what I try to do is I try to do a shout out to somebody for whatever it is they did. And oftentimes I will pick the very first person that hits as a shout out, because it's important that hit got in. And if they 3-starred, I think it's important to value that, because oftentimes the very bottom people don't get noticed as much as the top people, because people are watching at the top when you're coming to the end of the game, right? Sure. And I often shout out people who, if their base has held for a couple of hits and they haven't been 3-starred, those always get shout outs. So, and then anybody that has a 6-pack, those are sort of obvious. I don't always give shout outs for 6-packs though, because that happens kind of more regularly. But so as far as, I don't know if that has an impact on whether people will get their hits in a little bit early because I've said something about it, but there's always hope, I guess. I don't know. Yes.
Struggle is real.
Moving on then, I was going to say, I think some people like Kat's attention at the end of war, so maybe they just like hearing from you, Mama, tagging them at the end of the war. So, okay. Did either of you buy the primal scenery?
I did.
Did you? It was that little dragon's bum sticking out of the cave, wasn't it?
Well, kind of cool skin. The scenery is nice. It's nice and clean. You can actually see. It looks neat and tidy.
As soon as I go to press attack and suddenly it's there, it's like, oh, this is that scenery. Yeah.
Yes.
And did you buy the RC skin as well, the primal RC skin?
Yes. I couldn't help it.
I did not. I held back. How about you, Mama?
Oh, yeah. I don't buy those things because I spend enough gems on. I spend a lot of money on gems, so I don't need to spend more money on that. But I am totally, totally impressed with the fact that Kat does this. I love when I hear about her, buying skins for her Archer Queen, and I think it's great. So yeah, keep doing it, Kat.
Well, I have to tell you, I discovered something just the other night, and I was so thrilled with it. The skin they had for the Barbarian King. It has the little tiger helmet and what have you.
Yes.
Okay, so when he pops his ability and all the little barbarians spawn,
Yes.
they all have little tiger helmets on.
Okay,
I thought that
I
was
think
just
we
the
all
coolest
should
thing.
go to wherever you like, Redthorn or someplace so we can watch that happen.
I'll post a replay.
Yeah, post a replay. That'd be great.
Now
I
you,
thought
you know
just
we were
always
live
good.
on stream with our friend Mords, and he watched me do that attack, right? And
Uh-huh.
he was like going on about the tiger skin. You
Yes,
don't you
yeah.
don't remember that?
No,
No, you must have been focused on your attack. I don't
I
remember. What was he hosting that war? What was that war he was doing?
I can't remember.
The last big one.
You'll have to tell us.
Hopefully he remembers.
So yes, so I'm guilty of buying the skins and the scenery.
So, Mama, do you do claim games on all your accounts?
Absolutely. I
And
I have 8 accounts, and all 8 accounts are always fully done. And I would never
wow.
not. So actually, I have probably had a handful of times when I haven't been able to do like maybe one account, but it's because I've been traveling or something has happened. It's not because I've
Mhm.
like I have every intention of completing everyone every time, and I'm partly I feel that because I'm the leader at We the North that I should set the example. But yeah, I always, you know what, I may not be a really highly skilled player, but I'm definitely a team player.
And I think
And
that's more important.
we need those. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. How about you, Kat? Do you get them done on every account?
Normally I do, yes. I don't think I did them on my 9 this time just because I just needed to cut back on at least one account. So,
And I know
yeah,
often you hold one account in reserve, right? In case somebody says, "Oh my goodness, we're not going to
yeah,
get done in this particular account," and then I know you like scramble over there with a couple days left to help them out.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's always good to hold something that you don't need the rewards. But yeah,
Kat is involved in. I think what are you in like 300 Discord servers, so she can get the call at any time from anywhere in the
not quite
world,
that many. It's
and she'll
only
come
about
on.
100.
Is it only 100? Oh yeah,
And I do call. I do
yes.
call.
I'm kind of embarrassed to say this. One of my 14s I got started, but on Zarch I didn't do a single game. I don't know what happened. I just lost track of it somehow,
Mhm.
or always thought I was switching. So, wow, I can't believe you get it done on every account.
Yeah,
It's
8 is a
incredible.
lot to do.
Mama commented on our last thing about how I was talking how quickly I was able to progress on the new
Hmm.
bases, and she put the question out: do we feel like Supercell is doing a disservice to new players, like not players with new accounts, but players brand new to Clash of Clans? Are they doing them a disservice by rushing them through those early town halls? And I had an initial answer, but I've since changed that
Hmm.
answer. So I'm going to first ask Mama, what do you think? Do you think they're doing a disservice?
So I mean, yes, I think they are. I think I worry the most about base building because I don't know how much time do you really spend on building a base and then having it be attacked and then maybe altering it a little bit. Like I don't know that there's a lot of time to be able to do that. And so I kind of wonder then what happens when they get up into the higher levels? Do they just rely on, you know, copying somebody's base or did, I kind of wonder if we're not going to get the base builders out there that
Hmm.
we've got some really good base builders up at the, I'm thinking of Andrew and, some of those people who are really good at base building. Are we going to have those people in the next, are we going to continue
That's
to
a really
get
good
them?
question.
And how about you, Kat? How do you feel
Um,
about it? I mean, you don't have a brand new account at the moment, but you heard a little bit about the early town hall seasons
yes, I
pass. or a gold pass type of thing.
I do know a few people who keep starting new accounts, yes. But I don't know,
Would that be Peter?
Peter and Carl. Thinking back to, when we first started playing, and you would spend it because it took a long time to finish a town hall. Building up your camps and your barracks and doing all the upgrades and what have you. And you did spend a lot more time practicing different types of attacks. Like you couldn't FC back then, but you would do your farming attacks and maybe you're farming with hogs or something to practice or so, stuff like that. So and Mom was right, building your bases back then. Well, back then you had to try and build something, because where were you going to find ideas for bases unless you found a picture on the internet or someone's base that you attacked in war was really good, so you tried to copy it, and nobody knew anything about where to place traps back then. So the speed for brand new players, the speed at which they can burn through the town hall levels, I don't know, maybe they should slow it down around 8 or 9 a little bit. But then again, it's such a grind. Everybody wants to get up to the higher levels because that's where Clash is at, right?
But you know what? When you get through really quickly up to about 11, and then I have a whole pile of 12s right now, and all of a sudden now I'm screeching to a halt because I just upgraded something today, and it was going to be 3 weeks before it's actually finished.
Yeah, 12. Yeah, it really slows down at 12 for sure. Like I noticed that. But also one thing that it probably concerns me a little bit is people not learning all of the various fun attacks that are available at those town halls. Because there was a lot of creativity and fun, but by people coming up with different attack strategies at Town Hall 7 and 8 and 9, and you use those skills as you move forward, right? Like, you learn at 9, you learn how to queen walk, queen charge, and hogs. At Town Hall 7 and 8, you can start using hogs a little bit. And so if you burn through them too quickly, do you miss out? Are you cheating yourself a little bit?
When Mama first said that, I thought, no, the gameplay is at 14, right? That's where Darian said, more than 50% of the accounts are now max level accounts.
Right.
But I'm at Town Hall 9 now on that first one I did, the one I started at Christmas when Magnus posted the wall reductions again. And I have a level 20 queen and a level 20 king as of today. And you know what? I'm going to change my idea, because initially I thought, no, everyone needs to get up to the higher levels quickly. I am loving failing with Lavaloon at Town Hall 9. I am learning so much about how much a queen can really do, whereas at Town Hall 14, you just keep throwing rages at her, and you have a plethora of spells to use up on a queen charge. At Town Hall 9, if you want to do queen charge and then have any hastes left, you can only really have 3 rages. And that's often not enough to get through an expo and then the enemy queen and the CC. It's so I think they are doing them somewhat of a disservice, except a lot of the gameplay is really situated towards Town Hall 14. But I think they've done some clever things back up. Wizard of Woo and Hero on their podcast said SCWL, below Town Hall 10, it's not really there for you, right? You're not getting to play very much. Yeah, the matchups are horrible. I jumped over to DA with Raz and he just wanted to run a 30, and I put my 9 in, and I think I had to attack an 11. So it's steep, right? It's hard.
I mean, you pretty much have to be really far down, like down in low crystal. I think there's gold. I've never run into anybody who's in gold. So
actually, I am. One of my clans that I'm in is we just did an attack, and I think there was some 7s and 8s in that one.
And was that the first time you'd spun that clan, or?
So I'm not I put my 10 is in there. It's my youngest account, and I have no responsibilities in that clan. I just have to show up. But it's actually, I think they spun 30. And when you have that many, you end up getting those small little accounts at the bottom. And the clan itself is probably like a level 6. I don't know
Interesting.
if that has
Okay.
an
Yeah, I
impact or
don't
not.
know. We're not playing down there, so that's very
Oh,
good to know.
good.
And does your clan have Town Hall 7 spun in?
Uh, we have an 8.
And 8 is the lowest. Okay.
There's an 8 in there. Yeah. So those poor little people on the other team,
Wow.
they're struggling for sure. They probably, so often what happens is those people don't even show up.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
They're just coming to get the bonus points, whether they
that's
Yeah.
right.
play or not. Which then, that's not a lot of fun either. When you come to play, you want to play.
Yeah, it's because
And
it's a whole week that they don't get to do any wars.
and especially if that's your only account at Town Hall 7 and you're just now, meh, that would be hard. But if it's
Yeah.
just a filler, right? Somebody else has an 11 in there and they're just throwing in their 7 to make numbers. That's not so bad, I guess.
Yeah, I wish there was a better way for them to spin SCCWL and make it a little bit more equal for people running mixed breakdowns in their clans, because there are still there are probably lots of clans out there with, a complete mix of different levels of accounts. And
You know what I think they should do? I think, especially once they get Town Hall 15 made, I think what they should do is every time you do SCCWL, they should do one Town Hall level in every. So if you're going to have 15, you have to have a level 1, a level 2, a level
Oh,
3, level
I
4, level
love
5,
it. I love
6,
it.
level 7. And sort of that's kind of set on the premise that you can push a button, and if you're 14, you can push a button and you can turn yourself back into an 11, I guess. But I really feel like that solves a lot of problems. If they could, maybe they can't do a level 1 or Town Hall 1, because I don't know what you can do in that level, but maybe it's from 10 to 15, or I don't know. But I think if they restricted that you couldn't have all 14s, that would even be interesting.
Yes, interesting.
well, the funny thing is that they, when they push out their special little challenges every other month, everybody plays as a Town Hall 14 with specific troops. So why
Mhm.
couldn't they just make a CCWL? Everybody gets to play as a 14.
Oh,
If this is something, I don't know. There's positives to that and negatives, because you're going to have somebody maybe who's just started the game who has no clue, and all of a sudden he's given this overpowered base to play with.
And 4 heroes to manage. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be just a little bit overwhelming.
and pets and
Yeah, and the pets.
I was thinking about this and I thought maybe they could divide it into people who want to try and progress up the ranks versus people who just want to participate. And maybe they could use the actual war making, matchmaking to get those 7 clans together, or 8 clans together, rather.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us, that want to kind of push towards champs, we can go in a different stream and we get put in kind of the competitive side. And I don't mean it competitive side. I just mean I don't know what I mean, but I don't mean that they don't want to be competitive. Of course, everyone wants an even matchup. That's how you test yourself, right?
Mhm.
It's very hard to be competitive
Mhm.
11s versus 14s.
Yes.
Whereas if it's 11s versus 11s and 13s versus 13s, now there can be strategy like good old tweaks used to have to do, right? How are we going to maximize stars today?
Yeah, there's no easy answer for that, is there?
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of those special levels, did any of you do Galadon's Golem Gauntlet?
I did. I had to watch, let's see, I think I watched Itsu, and then I watched Big Veil on how to do it. And then I just kind of mishmashed the two together and managed to get it done.
congrats, that's great. How about you, Peter?
I actually don't really do those things. I don't know why. I think I often have the reward anyway, and it's just something else to fit in that I don't try to necessarily. I watch the guys' videos just because I like to hear them talk about, oh my goodness, they have the reactions. Remember the graveyard one where all the skeleton spells topped up, and
Yes.
who was it? Who was it? Carbon Finn, I think, or one of those crazy guys went nuts about all the skeletons. So
Mhm. Well, I think I prefer the sort of the fun themed ones, like you said, the Halloween one, and then this one was a lot of fun compared to the real bases they take off of the world's ones. I just kind of like doing a challenge. It's more motivating to me to do the fun challenge where, like, you might run into, like you said, that one that had shrink traps and skellies and all these other weird things, and you had to figure out a way to get through all that. So
So for quality of life changes, you want more bases that are realistic rather than or not realistic, excuse me, rather than the pro bases and the pros comp. That's
Yeah,
more fun for you. Yeah.
for me, because doing legend hits all day, I see a lot of bases. So to do a fun challenge like that it's something different. So it's adds to the fun side of the game for me. What do you think, Mama?
I I guess I'm with Peter. I don't do these either. I try when they first came out. I tried a couple, and I think it may be that I'm so used to my own little
Yeah.
troop comp
Mhm.
Mhm.
that I do day in day out. That to try to do somebody else's, I find that frustrating, and that kind of person. I don't like to actually go to the video first because I would like
Mhm.
to try it, and then I just got really frustrated. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I don't need to do this.
Yes, it's tough watching Itsu boom bases. He just I just dropped my freeze at this last possible second, and
Yeah, I
yeah,
I know.
I only needed 3 troops and I swagged everything else.
everything else. Yeah, thanks. I hate those guys. So what else can Supercell give us in the spring? What do we need as Clash of Clans players?
Tell us, Mama.
So you know what? If I could have anything different or better, this isn't really gameplay, I guess, but I really would like a better way to communicate with my clan members. What I find is because none of us are hooked up to Discord, we can't talk to each other. You're only allowed to print out so much in
Yeah.
clan chat. Like I start to write volumes when people are
Right?
asking me things, and it's very frustrating. And I think it would be fun to be able to do like give me voice on Supercell. Like they probably could do that.
Yeah. Or even a pop-out thread where like you're talking to one person in chat, but maybe you wanted to have a more detailed discussion. So maybe you could have a thread that the two of you could talk. Yeah.
Yes, anything like that, but with a
Yes.
longer. Like you need more space. The little space they give you is not enough. And same if you want to do a mail, it's the mails. I don't even try to
Oh,
do mail anymore
it's
because
horrible.
it's the same frustrating
Yeah, if you
thing.
make a typo at the beginning and you don't notice it till you're near the end, then you can't just move the cursor to correct that. So you got
No.
to erase everything you've already typed out and retype the whole thing.
And unless you have
Yeah.
multiple accounts, you can't follow it up with another message right away.
Exactly. If it's too long, your message is too long. You need another account so that you can send part two of your message. So yeah,
Yeah,
for sure they
for
could
sure.
improve on that.
Actually, you know what? There's one other thing that I don't know if this would improve, if you call this improving gameplay or not, but when you're about to do an attack, you're going in, you're scouting, but you know that you probably have about 10 seconds left on that last little loon to get completed. You have to when you're scouting, rather than you can't go straight to attack, you have to leave that base, you have to go back out, you have to confirm that your loon is
Mhm.
now
Oh yes,
healed
yes.
and made, and then you go back in and do your attack. I think if they could just let me have my little loon grow or develop or whatever it's going to do, and have it be ready when I want to do my attack, that I don't have to leave that site and come back and go back in again like that. I find that really irritating, and I think that would really help me,
Yeah, that's
because then I have to rethink my whole gameplay all over
Right.
again, right? I've made a plan. I go out, have to check on my troops. I go back in, and then I have to go through that whole
Yeah.
process again. So,
That's a valid thing.
but that's exactly what we're looking for, quality of life things. So, there's those little glitches that just get us, and
Yeah.
what can we do to make it smoother?
Well, and sometimes it's just small things that really can make the gameplay, like you say, smoother and more enjoyable. I know one thing that I've heard
mhm.
a lot of people asking for is, you know, with the super troops, like you have 2 slots, and so you queue up your two, you unlock your two, and for example, like with the super bowler attack, like I need super wall breakers and I need super bowlers. So now that takes me out of being able to donate super minions to the war CC, or
Right.
if anybody's doing blizzards, I can't unlock super wizards for them to donate. So my ability to help out my clanmates is diminished. Why can't we yes, have our 2 slots that we're allowed to use of Super Troops, but why can't we donate other Super Troops, even if it was just with a gem?
Yes, lots of people have asked for that. I would like that too.
I think that makes perfect
But
sense.
you're still only allowed to use these other 2 that you've paid to unlock, but to help out your clanmates, you could donate the others. I just think that would make life so much easier.
Or give more slots or something.
Maybe
I don't
that's
know.
coming for Town Hall 15. You never know, right?
You never know. I would like one more Super Troop just so we can have 14 Super Troops. We can do friendly wars, 15v15.
Mhm.
One of every Super Troop has to be, not per person, but one person per clan has to use a certain Super Troop,
Mhm.
and one guy gets none. And that would be a fun event. I think we could have multiple teams of 15.
That would be fun.
Any ideas for new items? Maybe a new spell?
We need a spell that speeds up the pet house.
Ah, yes. Yes.
Because your boost on your builders has no effect. Like you can get a spell to boost your lab, but there's nothing that speeds up your pets. So I think that's really needed.
Do you know the little booklets for King? Can you use
Yes.
those on your pets?
Yeah, the pets are a hero.
Okay.
So that's the
Right,
only thing you can do for them is to use your hero books on the pets. Yeah, new troop. Do you have any ideas on new troops, Mama?
I'm not a 14 yet. I'm actually really nervous about going to 14. So yeah, I'm just happy with the troops I have. I don't have any new thoughts or anything like that. I find what I use is working.
I'm ready for the fire wizard. We have the party wizard. We have the ice wizard. We occasionally have super wizards. But I'm ready for the fire wizard. Maybe with some kind of burning effect like the flame flinger has. I don't know quite how they'll work that in, but maybe a second super wizard troop.
Maybe they need a super headhunter.
A super headhunter.
Mm.
Both good.
I'm not sure what it would do yet. I'm sure it would be super. What about new defenses? Any ideas?
I still want weaponized army camps.
I think they need that lava launcher from the builder base.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Both of those would be good.
And I think you've heard Darian talk about new gameplay, this update that they've been promising us, I think, for 6 months now. Got any guesses on what we might see, Mama?
I don't have any guess at all. I'm always, you know what, when it comes to this part in the podcast, when you guys are asking these questions, I'm always amazed with what kind of creative ideas that you can come up with. And so tell me, give me some of your creative ideas.
I'm still desperate for some kind of cooperative gameplay. I played Boom Beach just to get an idea of what that mega base would be like. I think that would be a lot of fun in Clash of Clans, especially if they could integrate voice into the game. Now you could coordinate an attack. 5 of you kind of attacking the super base. I think it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that's important because I know a lot of people play Brawl Stars, and I have played Brawl Stars in the past, and it's a completely different experience when you are playing on voice in a group with 2 or 3 people, because like you said, it's a cooperative game. So you're working as a team to accomplish a goal, to get to the other side and destroy something, whatever. But playing by yourself, it's not nearly as much fun. And I think that's why I lost interest, because I was never on voice with anybody after that 1 or 2 times, and the game itself just didn't hold my interest as a single player game.
Right.
So I think a cooperative aspect for Clash of Clans would be a lot of fun, and that would be really different, having to work as a team.
And Darian reminded us, why can't I FC my own base? And he reminded us because it's called Clash of Clans, right? So he sees the value of the group. So hopefully that was a little sneak peek on his, giving us a little hint of what's to come. We can hope.
So one thing I wanted to talk about with you guys here is podcasting. Supercell gives a lot of support to content creators, and unfortunately, those of us hosting podcasts don't really get much of, if any, support or recognition from them. Do you think it's time that podcasts become eligible for the Creator Code program? It might be difficult because a lot of us don't have any real listeners or subscribers. We might have a few people, 2 or 3, but they also have tab in game called the community tab where they highlight the different YouTube streams and what have you. Why couldn't they highlight some Clash of Clans podcasts?
I think that's a great idea, actually. I love the podcasts, and I think that I think it would be great to be able to promote it.
What do you think, Peter?
I'm very torn about this because, we now have that Discord partner subscription service, and that's going to benefit the pod. But, when we talked about it, I'm doing this for fun. I'm not really doing this as a job. And I think if Supercell kind of acknowledged us or started promoting us, I would feel more obliged to make it more of a priority. Not that I don't make it a priority, but I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
yeah, I understand.
I don't know how much a YouTuber gets paid. Is it enough money that he does not have to do a 9-to-5 job? I don't know. It seems that they put a ton of time in, but it also seems like they're doing them very late at night. I remember seeing some of those guys' bags under their eyes grow and grow and grow as they did more and more stuff. So
yeah,
I'm not sure. How about you? At what point would it become enough for you to want to be a content creator?
Sure. I'm like you. I do this because it's a lot of fun. I enjoy sitting around and talking Clash and other things with everyone, and I don't want to feel like it's an obligation. But I also know there's a lot of people that they are very passionate about their podcasts, and as are we. And it would be nice to just sort of, even if there isn't the content creator end of it, just to be sort of included as another layer that people can get exposed to in that community tab. Because I think, we as a community of podcasters bring a lot to the game, different viewpoints, and it's something that I think a lot of people would enjoy listening to.
If they knew it was available.
If they knew it was available.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem I have is, how do you find out about podcasts? Like, if you don't spend a lot of time online, how do you find out about it? Like, this one was so easy because, I was already a CFF member. So it's easy to find the ones that are associated with this group, right? But like I know there's other people out there. I don't know that I've ever listened. I guess I've listened to maybe 2 or 3 others, but like, I don't know. How do people find you if they don't know about you?
Excellent point.
Yeah. Well, luckily we have, podcast fanatics like Good Cop and Miss P that are always promoting new podcasts, and they've brought in a bunch of people to the CFF server that also put out wonderful content, like the C2J guys and Catfish, Clashing in Traffic, the Only Clash podcast. There's so many out there, and there's one of the great pods that talked a lot about Clash. They just wrapped up at episode 100, Clash on the Potty, with our friends Tribe of Judah and Proverbs 31. So that was their last episode.
Yeah, that was bittersweet when I read that and listened to that episode. They were really torn too. That was hard to listen to.
Yeah, it's very sad. When you see people hang it up. Clash isn't exactly giving us a ton of things to talk about these days. So hopefully they come out with some updates soon or some new content for us.
I think that's also the beauty of belonging to the CFF, in that there are so many other, when you have your Pepsi versus Coke challenges, and there's things like that are happening nonstop in CFF that I find that stuff all very interesting. So for us to have that as a part of our content, I'm really happy to have it.
Yeah, we really are very lucky. It seems like every month there's at least one event every month, if not 2. And there's always people throwing out new ideas for different things. So, and even our friends, working with them for different events, it just adds to the sense of community and the fun. So it gives us a lot of content to talk about. Lots of shenanigans. Right, Peter?
Lots of shenanigans. I didn't know I could be involved in so many shenanigans.
You never would have guessed. So I guess that's the end of our time for tonight. And thank you again, Momma, for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Appreciate all you do.
Well, thanks for having me.
And time for shout-outs. So you can go first, Momma. Do you have any shout-outs?
I do. I have been on a couple of different podcasts, and I've always shouted out Sidz's wife as a person who was very instrumental in keeping Sidz in the game. And I've never shouted out Sidz, and I think now would be the perfect time. If it wasn't for Sidz, I would not have joined a clan. I would have not joined the CFF. So I really feel like he's made my Clash experience so much richer because he's been part of it. And yes, I'd like to thank him and shout him out.
That's awesome.
Peter, how about you?
You would think I never do shout outs because I have another list that is as long as my arm. First off, I want to say thanks, Mama. You have made us podcasting so easy because we just kind of turn over the editing to you. I know many of the other ones have to do it themselves. So thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Also like to thank GCBC for being a total podcast nerd, even though he is not on a podcast. We've asked him to come on. He has said no. So thank you for actually accepting, Mama. That was very, very special for us.
Yes.
And to Proverbs 31 and Tribe of Judah, thanks for the memories. I really loved hearing the enthusiasm of your kids and their kind of take on stuff in the Clash of Clans world. So I'm going to miss that. You didn't always release every Monday or whatever, but I would listen to it on the ride home. So it made the travel easy.
Awesome.
My buddy Raz and I are doing some mini wars in a clan that he made, and I think we're up to 17 or 18 an undefeated streak right now.
Oh,
We're only
wow.
running 5v5 wars, and you can only be perfect, so we can't beat the other guys that go perfect against us. But it's been fun. It's very low key. And my last one is to my wife Jan. She had a really tough last couple of weeks, so I just want to say keep fighting. I love you, and start playing Clash of Clans.
For sure. My shout out is to Magnus for helping me cobble together SCCWL this month. I couldn't have done it without you. And shout out to you, Peter, for doing SCCWL month after month and making it work so smoothly.
Thanks.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for listening. The CFF is a family of clans in games such as Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and many of the other Supercell games. We love to provide content via podcasts and other media. You can visit the Clash Files Discord to apply to any of our clans or to support our pods and events. As always, please send us your comments, ideas, and questions to us at KGH Podcast on Twitter or join the Clash Files Discord at discord.gg/clashfiles.